Hey there, Derek Rydall here, founder of the Law of Emergence and author of the best-selling books Emergence and the Abundance Project. And I'm just so excited to be with you here today on Spirit Sunday, where we get to dive more deeply into the mystical reality of life, into the truth of life, into life itself, rather than merely grappling with life experiences and life forms, into discovering who and what we really are, why we're really alive, and where we're really living, which is not in circumstances and conditions. We are not in the world, but the world is really in us. And we're going to talk about that today a bit. And in some Sundays, or most Sundays, we'll see how this goes. But I want to just also remind you to get more of these videos, definitely like the Facebook page or go to my YouTube channel or register from my podcast, the Emergence Podcast, so you can continue to get trainings and activations that continue to lift your vibration and minimize or mitigate the lower frequencies of worry, doubt, fear, and separation, and really feed and fuel and fill yourself with the light and the love and the truth that ultimately makes you free and allows you to live your destiny. And today we're talking about leaving your history and living the mystery. And it's important to understand that we have been conditioned to live, and sorry if I'm slightly, for those of you watching the video, if I'm slightly squinting, I couldn't quite find a way in the sun and the light to not squint, but the truth is still going to come through clearly. There's so much light. But leaving your history, that we've been conditioned to believe that, and hey everybody, good to see you here. We've been conditioned to believe that we have to determine who we can be or become or do based on where we've been and what we've been and what we've done. But life does not create that way. The Big Bang, the very initial activation and expression and creation of everything we now call our universe, our material universe, did not come from a precedent. It did not come from life going, well, let's see, what have I done so far? What's possible? What did I fail at? Let me solve that problem. What did I do good at? Let me do more of that. No, it was from the nothingness, the no-thingness, from the depths of infinite potential, of infinite good, that life was so full of itself, so full of itself. We got to get more full of ourselves. Life was so full of itself that it exploded in an action and an activity of love and joy and inspiration, the grand cosmic orgasm. And it gave birth to a new expression, a brand new unprecedented expression of itself called this universe. And that same capacity to create from seeming nothing, no thing, not creating from time and space, from then and when and all of those tenses of time, but from the now here, which is really nowhere. It's not in time or space. Now and here, when you're really now here, is not temporal. It's not bound by time. It's not bound by conditions in space. And made in the image and likeness of God means that we were made with the same creative faculty as life itself, as the divine creative impulse itself. We do not need to and ultimately should not create from precedent, create from history. What is history? His story. At the very least, create from her story, but don't create from his story, all right? We've created enough from his story. We've created enough from the past. Now, that doesn't mean there's not information in the past, that there's not value, because if we understand our past, and we understand the patterns we have repeated, and we understand the places that we have gotten lost in limited maps of reality and identities, so that we can get unhooked and not keep repeating the past, that's valuable to an extent and to a point. But ultimately, we want to develop the capacity to live from the mystery. That's Miss Story. We want to live from the mystery. We want to live from that is unprecedented, that has not yet been created. We don't want to live merely from imagination, which is often the combination of memory and fantasy, or past and future, that creates imagination that we then coagulate into a present condition. We want to live from emergination. We want to live from the depths of infinite potential that has never happened. Because here's the thing, you have never happened before. The unique pattern of infinite potential that you have come here to download hasn't happened. You didn't come here merely as the answer to a problem. You came here as an inspiration and an activation of a new possibility. We're not here to save the world. We're here to serve what's trying to emerge. And now more than ever, we have to work to get into that place. As we're being bombarded by all these memes and conspiracies and fear, doubt, worry, and limited beliefs and historical precedent and current scary conditions, if we try to create from that, we're just going to create another version of that. And when you create from the past, it's like making a copy of an old VHS tape. What happens with that future copy? And then that future copy, and then that future copy. It gets worse and worse and worse until eventually it's just all garbled information and you can't even see the picture. That's what happens when we keep creating from our past. Is that it's like a copy of a copy of a copy, maybe with little iterations, but by the time we get down the line, it's completely a mess. What's really been trying to come through, we can barely hear it and barely see it. But when we begin to break from our history, leave our history behind, and begin to discover our ahistorical being, discover that was created by life itself, that does not come from time and space, that which is not a product of time and space. That's where all the greatest innovations and revelations and real progress has ever occurred in science, in art, even in politics and leadership. It's when an individual has shot the gap of the storyline of their mind, the simulation of the mind, and they have said something to the effect of, and now they didn't say this is what I say, but this is what essentially happens: more than I want to change, fix, heal, control, or manipulate the conditions, I want to know the truth that makes me free. So like in my relationship, more than I want to keep controlling my partner or manipulating the conditions or arguing and fighting over all these past situations, I want to know the truth here that sets me and sets us free. That kind of consciousness, that kind of delving into the mystery where you don't have all the guardrails and the controls and you don't have certainty of the future, which is just a fantasy anyways, you're never going to get there. That allows you to open up to this infinite pattern of potential that is indestructible and uncorruptible, that has never been touched or harmed by any condition or historical experience. So it doesn't matter how many times you fought. It doesn't matter how many times your relationship has struggled. I'm just using that as an example. It doesn't matter how bad your parents' relationship was. It doesn't even matter what you decided was the nature of relationship or life from your childhood experience that you are now recapitulating in your current relationship. What matters, in other words, matter doesn't matter. It's what really matters that matters. It's that deep impulse of love or that deep desire of communion and connection that has a divine idea that wants to express. And when you can tap into that, when you can say, more than I want to move around deck chairs on the Titanic, I want to know what is the truth here, what is truly trying to emerge as the highest vision of possibility. And as that becomes your intention, your meditation, your contemplation, your prayer, you are now becoming a candidate for revelation, for real vision, to tap into that seed pattern of infinite good planted in the soil of your soul. You can apply the same thing to your business, to a project, and you can ultimately apply it to the world and your place in it. More than I want to control, manipulate, argue, prove, win, fight, fix, solve, I want to know the truth that sets me free. I want to know who and what I really am. I want a glimpse of ultimate reality. I want to know, what did God create when God created me? What did life really create? What's the divine idea of me? What's the divine idea of my relationship, my business, my home, my family, my body? What's the divine idea? This idea that no thief can enter in to steal, that no beliefs or conditions of the world can ever enter in to corrupt, diminish, or destroy? What is that about me that is eternal, that is infinite, that is forever whole and complete and intact? Let me see that. Let me have a glimpse of that. Purify me to make me an instrument of that. If that becomes your desire, if that becomes your sincere intention every day, you begin to drill down through the layers of all the coping mechanisms and the defense mechanisms and all the ways we've used to navigate and dance around and survive our limited maps of reality and our limited identities, including karmic propensities. We came into this world already with a map of reality and identity from karmic propensities, but we also then developed further a map of reality. I apologize for the airplane here. Yes, they're flying now. But we developed a limited map of reality and identity, and then we developed a survival kit, right? We said, okay, there's not enough in this world, or who I am isn't good enough in this world, and therefore, to survive and even thrive, I've got to work really, really hard. Who I am is too much, so I've got to ask for less and be less in order to be loved. All of these new survival coping mechanisms around a limited and false map of reality and identity. And then we went on a journey to try to figure out a way to survive in a world that wasn't enough, or a world that was out of control, or a world that was dangerous and scary, and which we were also not good enough, or we were too much, or we were too little. And it's okay that we've already been on that journey, because we did develop a lot of important skills. But in order for us to actually evolve, not merely recapitulate and regurgitate old patterns and beliefs over and over again, we have to become different, right? You cannot change the world and stay the same. This is why the average person doesn't live 70 to 90 years. They live the same year 70 to 90 times. They just keep changing their locations, their jobs, their mates, their costumes, their underwear, but they remain the same. It's the same story, different day, right? And that's because we're trying to manipulate the world of conditions, because we're still stuck in a historical perspective. So we have to instead begin to let go and leave behind our history. You're not your history. You're not that child that went through XYZ. You're not that person that was abandoned, rejected, betrayed. You're not that person that was lied to, cheated to. You're not that person. That's a fictional character in a historical play. And it's wonderful and beautiful as you begin to appreciate the play. I'm not saying that you don't appreciate good story. Your life has got a great story to it. It's probably very dramatic. It's probably something Shakespeare would have appreciated. But it's not who you are. You're not the character. You're not in the play. You're the author, and you're the actor. And you have to let go of identifying with that historical perspective. You have to stop trying to solve the problem based on being a problem. You follow? I was prematurely born. My parents fought all the time in divorce when I was 10. My dad looked at my report card and saw all A's and 1 B and said, "What's with the B, son?" And therefore, I had to work really, really hard. And I'm not such a good man because all men were bad, according to my mom. And now I'm working really, really hard to try to not be that and try to be better than that and try to fix all of that. That's me living in history. And that's me trying to constantly fix a character, a fictional character, that no matter what I do, he'll never be enough. You follow? And so now we have to begin to realize that's not who I am. I can learn the lessons and receive and harvest the blessings of my past so that I don't recapitulate them over and over again. I can get the gift of wisdom and growth. But what I want to put most of my energy on is not thinking life is a problem to be solved, but understanding that it's a mystery to be lived. It's an adventure in creativity. It's an adventure in moment by moment discovering what's trying to emerge as me, what's trying to emerge as life, what is life up to? And there is something life is up to as you. There is a great masterpiece trying to emerge as you. There is a great masterpiece trying to emerge as every aspect of your life and as the world itself. But we have to let go of history. We have to stop trying to save our little life and save the world and begin to serve what's emerging and begin to want it more than we want to control, right? The outcomes. As the story of the two monks that are walking along, and one monk, the younger monk, says to the master monk, I really want to know God so bad. How can I know God? And the master monk dunks his head underwater until he's about to drown and takes him out at the last moment. And he takes a gasp of air to save his life. And he's like, why, master? Why did you do that? And he said, when you want God as much as you wanted that next breath, then you'll have it. So whether it's God or love or spiritual liberation or the true knowing of your destiny, when you want that and want to be that more than you want anything else, more than you want to change, fix, control, or manipulate conditions, and more than you want to merely heal and solve the past, then you will become aligned with that divine idea within you that's trying to emerge. You will remove the static on the broadcast line and you will begin to tune more and more into the radio station that is playing your music, that symphony of success, that beat of abundance. It's already playing. It's always broadcasting. But we have to tune in. And for many of us, we've got our dial tuned somewhat to KLACK, K-LAC, instead of K-Rich, to, where we're singing the blues instead of the music that inspires us. K-Joy we want to be on, not Killjoy, right? And so we've got a lot of static. We're kind of going back and forth and we can't focus on any one station because we're like trying to save our life and solve our problems and manage and manipulate conditions, and that's all static. We want to have a single eye. If thine eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. I will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, O Lord. We want to keep our attention and develop our attention on our intention, which is more than I want to solve problems or control the world. I want to awaken to the divine idea and vision that is emerging as me, to the divine idea and vision that is emerging as the world. Make me an ever clearer, ever pure instrument of that. That's our prayer for today. That's our intention for today. And our practice is to intend it every day and to bring our attention to it every day. Intention and attention. Where our energy flows, where our attention goes, energy flows. And the energy of life then begins to support that divine aspiration, that divine inspiration, and that divine vision. So I invite you in to this sacred vow to seek first the kingdom of heaven within you rather than taking anxious thought for tomorrow. To seek first nirvana, the Tao, the Atman. To seek first a connection to that is the source of all creation. To that is the truth that sets us free, the truth that no condition or history can ever touch, tarnish, or diminish. To live in and from and as that truth, that's when we become indestructible, unstoppable, unshakable, and unsinkable. And that is the prayer that I'm activating today and inviting you in as we just take a breath and close our eyes and just feel that sense of commitment to this truth, to this prayer, to this path. The way is straight and narrow, and few there be that follow it. But all are called. It's just that few answer the call. Instead, they put it on hold or send it to voicemail. But we're not doing that today. We're taking it off a hold. We're throwing our heart and soul wide open, no matter what the conditions are that we face, and saying, Great Spirit, Mother, Father, God, infinite good, life, love, truth, I am willing, I am ready. Use me, make me an instrument. Not my will, but thy will be done. Thy will is always for a greater expression of good. My will is often for safety, security, comfort, and convenience. I'm letting go of all of that now. I'm letting go of my history, and in this moment, in this gap, where two or more are gathered in agreement, there the great I am is in the midst of us. The I am, the I that is my life before Abraham, before human conditions, the I that is indestructible and uncorruptible, infinite, immortal, and eternal, the I that is all-knowing, all-powerful, all-possessing, all-expressing, all-loving, all-giving, infinite good. This is the I that is announcing itself as each and every one of us right now. I am the way and the truth. I am not seeking the way and the truth. I am love. I am not seeking love. I am health and wealth. I am not seeking it, not even in the body or the business or the economy. I am wealth. I am health. I am wholeness. I am abundance. I am truth. I am light. I am beauty. I am that I am. And I am living and shining and sharing and circulating my infinite good like never before. And any belief, story whatsoever that would hinder, block, delay, or deny this has no power, never did, is dissolved and disintegrated in this holy instant. And I'm set free to be who and what I really am and fulfill my destiny and live a legendary life and leave a lasting legacy. Right now, not tomorrow. Not in the past, not when conditions or people change, but right now is the appointed time. This is the day the Lord has made, the great law of life, and we rejoice in it. We proclaim our freedom. We proclaim the truth, not based on appearances, but based on the truth. We stand in that. We have a deeper understanding so we can have a greater inner standing, so that we can have a more powerful outer standing, so that no matter what faces us, we do not tell our little God about our big problems. We tell our little problems about our big God. We do not worry what's facing us. We tell what's facing us to worry what it's facing, because what it's facing is God. What it's facing is eternal good. What it's facing is the all-power, the all-knowing presence. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness knows it not. The darkness is nothing. And as we are shining our light, it is illuminating our way and revealing that all is well, that all needs are met, that everything is working together for the highest good right now. And this is the vibration that we hold. This is the vibration that we radiate and we give silently to everyone and everything. And it is from this place that we ask, command my hands and feet. What would you have me do? Life, love, truth. And we listen for some bit of guidance. How am I to live in order to live from this place? What does it look like? What am I to do or stop doing? How am I to show up or hold myself? Just take a moment to become aware of that and comment what that is. Share with us so we can all hold the light and agree that it's happening, so that the two or more principle can be activated and manifestation can be accelerated. So we just allow for a sense of gratitude to bubble up in us. Something magnificent has been activated and established. I am so very grateful, so very thankful. And I allow it to be. I let go and let the law of life work upon the word of truth, the seed planted in the soil of our soul. And it will bear rich fruit. Thank you, life. Thank you, God. Thank you, Great Spirit. Thank you, all of the heavenly help. And so it is. Amen. So I invite you to definitely like the Facebook page so you can not miss any of these. Go to YouTube, register there so you can get all the new trainings that are coming that way, as well as the podcast on emergence and get all the free trainings. You can also check out DerekRydall.com to get additional free resources. I'm here for you. We're in this together. And we're going to emerge from this bigger, better, stronger, more abundant, and more expanded than ever before. I love and appreciate you. Until next time, remember to live authentically, love unconditionally, and follow your destiny. Take care.